Hey, welcome back to another episode of Rankum. Today we're doing Goosebumps books, um, and it's a really small panel today because not a lot of people either remember Goosebumps or they never read them. Because I tried getting so many people and it was just so tough. But I did manage to get one person, and it's Russell Howell. Russell, how's it going?
It is going really good, Malcolm. Glad you had me on. Yeah, when you were talking about this, come on for a Goosebump book panel type thing. I remember reading these in the mid '90s when these books were first coming out and popular, and they were on Fox channel had the specials on of the different Goosebump books, and these were big. So yeah, I was all about these books. So yeah, any chance I can to talk about the Goosebump books is a guilty pleasure for sure. I'm excited to be on here to talk about it.
Yeah, and, because it's a two-person panel, we're doing things a little bit differently. Take a page out of John Roker and Matt Notes page, and we're doing it top 10 style. So um, Russell's going to go through his 10 to 6, and I'll go for my 10 to 6, and so on and so forth. Um, and then when we get to 3, we trade one apiece, and then at the end, we rank. And if we have something that's a little higher up, saying past in the top 5, say I've got something in my bottom 10 and Russell's got it in his top 5, then that's known as a punt, and we'll talk about it when we get to it up there. But yeah, and I mean, I've probably butchered that, but never mind. And I'm going to throw over to Russell. Russell, what is your 10 through to 6?
All right, my number 10 is something that probably will not be on your top 10 list. This is an old, or not an older book, but it's more newer as we went up the series. It is book number 41 from the Goosebump book series. It's called Bad Hair Day. Um, I remember reading this book again when I was younger, and it dealt with magic and a kid trying to become a magician and stuff like that. Uh, Not really quite sure the whole premise of it. I kind of forget because it's been a long time. But it was one of those books that always stuck out. I enjoyed reading it. And I remember me and one of my other buddies kind of, I think we read the book in like 1 or 2 days because it was such a good read. So yeah, I have Bad Hair Day at number 10. All right. So you said you want me to go number nine?
Yep.
All right. Number nine, I got Goosebump books number 20. It is The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. Just remembered this is a very darker type Goosebumps book, and I just remember it really enjoying it. It really had that Halloween esque type feel to it. I enjoyed reading it, and it was I remember being a little bit scared when I was younger reading it. At number eight, another book in the 20s. I have book number 22, Ghost Beach. Really enjoyed this one a lot. I remember the main girl in it did gravestone rubbings. I just remember that. And she was on, I don't know if she was on a vacation house or something like that, but she was really into like doing the gravestone rubbings and stuff like that. And I just remember really enjoying that book. Again, like you said, Malcolm, I couldn't tell you the whole nooks and crannies of them. At number seven, I have book number 33, The Horror at Camp Jelly Jam. This was just a fun summer book. I remember reading this one. It came out in the summertime, and I thought it was kind of cool because it had that camp feel to it, and this camp was something more than what you would assume a camp would be. So that was a fun read. And let's see, at number six, I have Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. That is book number 13 in the Goosebumps series. It also, I believe, spawned a television show too for Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. I just remember it's about a piano that is haunted or something like that. I just remember it being a very good read. I love the front cover of the book. And I just remember really, really enjoying that book when I was younger. So I have Piano Lessons Can Be Murder as my number six. Hey, you have an audio. I wait, hold on one second.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You're good.
Okay. Well, my number 10 I've got is Deep Trouble. This is about Sheena and Billy Easton who go out and fish. I mean, just like Russell, I'm pretty foggy on the actual plot of the books, but I just remember this is one that I really enjoyed. It was just one of those ones which I liked, but it was one of the last ones that they actually did in the original series, I think. I can't quite remember the numbers, but yeah. Um,
That was book 19. I remember that.
I okay,
Yeah.
it was earlier. My number 9 is Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns. This is
Okay.
another one which is a very Halloween-esque, and it's one of those books in which um it's was really entertaining. Is just the fact that you've brought up the trope of the whole headless horseman thing again, whole jack-o'-lanterns looking for heads. It's just one of those ones that really resonates. It's one of those ones that I got attracted to because of the cover. The cover wanted me to read the books off the bat.
Yeah.
At my number 8, I've got the Cuckoo Clock of Doom.
I remember.
This is one which I can't remember the name of the kid, but he tampers with the cuckoo clock to try and erase his sister from existence. Uh,
Doesn't it do the time traveling? Isn't that the time traveling one?
yeah, the one that
Yeah.
he ends up
Yeah.
waking up and going back in time and ends up
Yeah.
erasing. Yeah,
That was a good one. Yeah. That was a good. I had that an honorable mention. That was a really good one. That was a good book.
and at number 7, I've got Attack of the Mutant,
That would be
and
a punt. That's a
there would
punt.
be a punt.
Yeah.
Um, and at number 6, I've got Say Cheese and Die.
Light punt.
Um, another punt.
Light punt.
Okay, uh, Russell, give us your 5 and 4.
All right. My five is the one you just said. It was Say Cheese and Die. This it was a slight punt, like I said. And this was book number 4. This was right early on in the Goosebumps series. I just remember that whole taking a photo and it like kind of like reading into what's
Yeah,
going to happen, and I thought that was kind of cool. It was almost reminding me of that scene in Back to the Future where he has that picture and you see like it being invisible, and then they come back and stuff like that. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that. But this one, I just remember really enjoying it. I really just thought it was so cool of an idea to have a camera that took pictures and it kind of pretty much like determined your fate almost. And I really, really enjoyed that one a lot. At number 4, I have The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. That would be book number 5. I just really liked that book, and I also honorable mentioned the other one, The Revenge of the Mummy's Tomb. I think it was book 23, if I'm not mistaken. I just really enjoyed that whole like I think the girl went with her grandfather or something like that, and he was an archaeologist and did the diggings or whatever like that. I kind of vaguely remember it, but I just remember really really enjoying it and just being engrossed in the whole entire curse of the Mummy's Tomb, and I really enjoyed it. So that's why I have that at number 4.
yeah, and I mean, for me, I'd say Cheese and Die is just one of those books in which I was really interesting. It's just the whole fact of um, taking a photo and then when bad things happen, it's like you try and stop it. It's like, and even the TV episode that they did of it was really interesting because it was a very young Ryan Gosling in that,
Yeah,
which
yeah, yeah.
is, which if you watch them now, like things like La La Land or First Man, it's like you wouldn't think he was this scrawny little kid from a Goosebumps book. They really did well getting a lot of good actors for those series. Anyway, my number 5 I've got is one I consider to be a classic is One Day in Holland.
Okay. Yep.
Um, and this is one which I'm pretty sure might have stemmed from maybe a bad experience, or else I might have had it Disney or something, because this is one of those things which you watch was like and start or read rather than start things like, did I almost not have a bad experience in Disney or something that eventuated this book. And I mean, it's like as we're talking about off here, there's also a new Goosebumps series with Goosebumps Howell, in which they bring back a whole bunch of old characters from previous books and mash them all up and have them all end up in Ireland and do various things. But yeah, and my number four I've got is Monster Blood 2. The, it was really hard for me to not put all the Monster Bloods on my list. As just one of those ones which I was like, well, I really want to have just one, because if I fill it up with Monster Bloods and Haunted Masks, then it's like that's already 8 spots taken up.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Monster Blood 2 is my favorite out of the board, just because um it's one which showed the effect of when you feed Monster Blood to something, and like and seeing how it can affect um the thing when you eat it. Because even the next one's like the main character eats Monster Blood and he grows. But yeah, this was just really entertaining. It's just really fun. It's like all the Monster Bloods in a whole were just really fun. What is your number three, Russell?
Yeah, I kind of went off the Monster Blood thing. I didn't put any of them on just because I didn't want it to be so cliche. Like you put the most popular ones in there. I kind of wanted to mix up my list, but I did put number three, the Haunted Mask, just because of the fact that this was a really really cool premise of this haunted Halloween mask, and the significance of this obviously being the very first televised Goosebumps episode that they did, I believe, was the Haunted Mask. So it has that kind of special place for me, just because I remember when they were talking about putting Goosebumps on television. I was like, well, there's so many books at the time. I'm like, well, what are they going to put out? And the Haunted Mask was the first one they chose. Pretty much about a kid who wears this mask, and this mask pretty much just like attaches itself to this kid. I just remember really enjoying it. I thought that the book was really cool. It was something different, a different premise that R.L. Stine had done. Because at that time this was book 11, so at that time it was kind of a fresh idea that he was going. And I just remember really enjoying it. And I said, like I said, the idea that this was the very first Goosebumps episode that they had televised, I thought just had that special place for me, and that's why I have that at number three.
And I should have actually checked my list before that, but that should have been a punt. But never mind. We all make mistakes like that. Um, but my number three is A Night in Terror Tower. Um, and this is one where they go to London and visit the Tower of London. It's like, and I think if I remember rightly, there was a bit of time traveling in this as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, and the main villain is the executioner. It's really fun. It's like the most of this book kind of takes place in the past, and it's just really fun to see how it is when you get to go back in time to and have something completely set in the past, and just really entertaining. But yeah, what is your number two, Russell?
My number two is a punt from earlier. It was Attack of the Mutant. It was book number 25 in the Goosebumps series. I really enjoyed this because this was like the comic book aspect of Goosebumps. It was something, a different concept that hadn't been done in the first 24 books. This one kind of puts the nerd into things with the whole comic book stuff and being a comic book nerd, and a kid like pretty much just engulfed in comic books, and like comic books, I think, coming to life or something like that. I forget, but I just really, really remember enjoying this. I thought that the whole concept that R.L. Stine did with this book really was something original in the series, because before then it was all about like ghosts and scary things, or like, you know, this was something a little bit more different, and I appreciated that route that he went with that. So I have Attack of the Mutant at number 2.
Yeah, my number 2 is another one that is a kind of a cliche one, but this character is really iconic when it comes to the Goosebumps franchise, and it's Night of the Living Dummy 2.
Okay.
This one, and I can't remember if he was in the first book or not, but this one brings Slappy to light, and this is there's in the TV show promos, like he always used Slappy in some form or another in promoting TV series. This is the one which I think brought in, and I mean, one can argue that Slappy is an iconic Goosebumps character. This like if you ask someone like name a Goosebumps character, the first one most people probably going to say is Slappy because it's just the one everyone remembers. And yeah, what is your number 1?
My number 1, I didn't actually want to ruin it, so it is A Night in Terror Tower. Um, to me, I didn't want to ruin it by saying because it was only the one it could be. It was book number 27 in the series, and I just remember the executioner standing there with a giant like sickle or whatever axe on the front cover, and I just remember really enjoying this book. This was one of these books that like the whole set in London, the whole type of time travel esque type stuff, and being chased by this executioner, I thought was so scary. It was just so fun, and it was one of the ones that I remember reading, and I'm like, this is probably going to be my favorite Goosebumps book because I just loved the read. It was a good read. I read it rather quickly at the time, and it was one of those ones that really just kept you because you know how all the books like at the end of each chapter it leaves you at a cliffhanger and you're always wanting to know, well, what the heck's going on in the next chapter, so you hurry up and read the next chapter, and then you're like, oh, I want to know what happens. And by the time you look at it, it's like you're halfway through the book already, and you're just like so intrigued and engrossed with what's going on in the plot that R.L. Stine has set up that you want to read more. And I remember this being a book that you just couldn't put down. So yeah, I have that as my number 1, Night in Terror Tower.
And I mean, this is going to make things interesting because my number 1 is the Haunted Mask. um,
Oh, man. Yeah.
because um, but yeah, and Haunted Mask is just one of those books that always sung to me. Is like he's had a few books set on Halloween. Um,
Yeah.
this is one of the ones which the sequel to the book was not as good. Uh, um, but it was just, but yeah, I mean, there's not much more I can say about this that Russell hasn't already said. But it's just definitely one that I really found interesting. Um, which
For
puts
sure.
us, at the fun moment of putting this list together, and um, which and we've both got a 1 and 3 split, which is the Haunted Mask and A Night at Terror Tower. Um,
That's I'm willing to flip a coin for it. I really don't care. Do you have any honorable mentions you want to go over?
Not that I actually wrote down on there. Is like, because for me the
I
other,
scribbled some kind of.
yeah, yeah. If you've got any else from
Um,
me,
yeah, the one I was thinking about, I really want to put on the list was Phantom of the Auditorium, book number 24 in the series. I really love the Phantom of the Opera. So the whole Phantom of the Auditorium thing was kind of like a play on Phantom of the Opera, which I thought was really cool. So that was one that I really, really wanted to put in there. There was these other ones just had a spot that I really I wanted them in there. Kind of piggyback what you said, Night of the Living Dummy and Monster Blood I had in there because again, those are classics and they did spawn off a couple iconic characters. Obviously, Slappy from Night of the Living Dummy series, and just the Monster Blood was a very popular series too. I believe they had 3 total Monster Bloods. Um, Another one I enjoyed was one from the first 10. It was book number 6, Let's Get Invisible. I really remember enjoying that one. And the last one I had was book 26, My Hairiest Adventure. The kids look. I just really, really remember. Both 20s were pretty much all really, really solid. There was a time that he was like, just really, he was like hit on everything he was coming out with in the 20s. I really enjoyed pretty much all of them. But yeah, those ones are pretty much my honorable mentions. But yeah, we can flip for number one. I'm fine with that.
I don't have a corn on me, but I do have a random picker on my phone.
That'll work for me. Funny how ours both went 1-3-1-3, huh?
Yeah. And our number, I don't know if you can see that clearly.
I can't make it out really, but
Yeah.
you're good.
The Haunted Mask is number one, and Terror Tower is number two.
That's fun.
Um, um, we both had Say Cheese and Die, and we both had Attack of the Mutant.
Okay, so 9 Terror Towers out, Attack of the Mask. So you want to put Haunted Mask 1, Night and Terror Tower 2, Attack of the Mutant 3? Where did you have it at, Attack of the Mutant?
I had Attack of the Mutant at 7, but Attack of the Mutant was your 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means Attack of the Mutant is next.
Okay, we'll go Attack. Okay. Okay. What's our next common one? Say Cheese and Die?
Say Cheese and Die, I think, is our only other common one. Where did you have Say Cheese?
I had it at 5. So that'll be
Yeah,
a
I
4.
added it. I had it at 6. So yeah, 4 works.
All right, Say Cheese. Okay. And then pretty much whatever your higher up is from there, I guess we can just go back and forth.
Yeah, so my next higher up is Night of the Living Dummy 2.
That's fine. We'll put that one on there. All right, so that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My highest one I got now is Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, so we can put that at 6.
Yep. My next highest is Monster Blood 2.
All right, so we'll put that. Monster Blood 2, we will put at 7.
Yep.
All right, so my next highest up I have will be Piano Lessons Can Be Murder.
Yep.
We'll put that at... All right, go. What was your number 9? Or what was your highest one now?
My next higher was One Day in Horrorland.
You want to put that at 9?
Yep.
Oh, man. And number 10. I'm trying to think here. The ones. Do you want to put another one of yours on there, or how many do you have out of your top 5 on there?
All my top 5 are there.
So are mine, and my number 6 is on there too. How about you?
My number 6 is there. Like my next highest is my number 8, which is the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. What's your next highest?
My next highest up is my 7. It's a Horror Camp Jelly Jam, but I kind of wanted to put one that was a little bit lower on there. But I mean, that's up to you. How do you want to do that?
I mean, what one would you want to put up?
Probably my number 8, my Ghost Beach. I wouldn't mind putting on there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that over Cuckoo Clock of Doom, that's for sure.
Okay. All right, we'll do that then. We'll go Ghost Beach at 10 then.
Ghost Beach. Right. Now it's time for our top 10. So our top 10 Goosebumps books. That's my first impression of John Wick. At number 10, we've got Ghost Beach. At number 9 is One Day at Horrorland. At number 8, we've got Piano Lessons. At number 7, we've got Monster Blood 2. At number 6, we've got The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb. At number 5, Night of the Living Dummy 2. At number 4, we've got Say Cheese and Die. At number 3, we've got Attack of the Mutants. At number 12, we've got A Night in the Terror Tower. And our number 1 Goosebumps book is The Haunted Mask.
Solid list. I think it was a good list there.
Yeah, most definitely. But Russell, where can people find you online?
Yeah, they can find me at House Hollywood Reviews. I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, all that fun stuff. You can also find me with a good Schmodown friend, Chance Ellison, and I. We do a podcast called Notorious by Chance. Get on the Facebook group. Go ahead. Every time that we put out polls for people to vote on, and we pretty much review whatever you guys vote on. A couple times we do a little special pick where we pick something that we want to really talk about, and we talk about it. But go ahead and check us out anywhere that podcasts can be found. Join that Facebook group, get involved, and yeah, that's pretty much anywhere you can find me.
And you can find me on Tape View Productions, where I host Rankum every Sunday night. Next week, we're doing Halloween television specials, and that's going to wrap up our Halloween month of October. And you can also find me competing in trivia on Multiplex and Full Metal. And you can also find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Malcolm. And until next week, I'll see you when we rank 'em.